What's up, Story the Crew? It's yours truly, Story the. Right now, but get into the sad curse of Florida rap. Yeah, leave a like. Let's get into it. It's a 44-minute video.
But it seems like the whole state is cursed. As soon as someone new blows up in the industry, they end up in jail or on the news for something wild. And today we're breaking down the craziest stories of Florida rappers and why they're all cursed. XXXTentacion was one of the hottest rappers alive before he was brutally killed in 2018. But his whole life seemed cursed from the jump. When X was just 6 years old, he allegedly stabbed a dude who was attacking his mom. Then he went to a youth program and had to live with his grandma. X's dad used to beat him and his mom, and later X went through more trauma when he found his uncle's dead body. He got into music after his aunt convinced him to join the school choir, but X ended up getting kicked out for attacking another kid in the choir. X dropped out in the 10th grade, and it looked like he was going to be in the streets his whole life. But that all changed when he got booked for a gun charge and met his homie, Mask the Slump God. Ski and X got close behind bars and would freestyle together, and when they got out of juvie, they decided to start recording music together. X was getting some buzz on his name and decided to leave the streets behind. He dropped 3 projects in 2014, then linked up with Ski Mask and dropped a collab mixtape. By 2016, he was already big enough to quit his day job and go full-time with music.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or...
I ain't gonna lie. During the whole X, like, I couldn't understand it. I just knew he was that guy though. Like, he had all the influence, but in real time, nigga like me could not understand it. Of course he had songs I messed with that I listened to on my personal time and like not on camera. But for the most part, and then after his passing, I got to see more. Like, damn, they really, man, in this current time, that nigga X would have done like world tours, but only arenas by now. Mind you, he was considered an independent artist.
That same year, he got booked for assault with a deadly weapon in July. Then a few months later, he was arrested again for allegedly putting hands on his girlfriend. He also stabbed his manager, Tables, but X got lucky when Tables decided not to press charges against him. Besides the legal drama, X was always making headlines for beefing with other rappers too. He fell out with Mask the Slump God and told fans he was gonna retire unless Ski became his friend again.
If you want me to make music, tell Ski Mask to be my friend again.
And in 2017, X started beefing with Drake because he thought Drake stole his flow. Drake previewed a song that sounded a lot like X's hit song, Look At Me, which was doing crazy numbers on SoundCloud. X was locked up at the time and felt disrespected that Drake would jack his flow without even reaching out and showing love. So X started dissing Drake on social media and had his fans going after him too. The situation got crazy, and X even sent shots at Drake's mom. Then he started beefing with Offset and the Migos too. A video came out where the Migos allegedly attacked X, but later the news broke that none of the Migos were actually involved with the situation. Even X's concerts were cursed too. At one show, X's homie, Wi-Fi's funeral, jumped into the crowd and people started kicking him. Then a month later, X got knocked out on stage during the show and somebody in the crowd got stabbed. X was making headlines.
And look though, that's the highlight of Buddy's career. What's his name? Rob Stone. That moment in that damn song he had, or got, not had. That's the highlight of Buddy's career, man.
All the wrong reasons, but people close to him said he wanted to change his life and go down a better path. Unfortunately, he never really got the chance to try though, because in 2018, he was brutally shot and killed in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Michael Boatwright, Trayvon Newsome, Dedrick Williams, and Robert Allen spotted X pulling into a motorcycle shop and followed him there. Then when X left the shop, they blocked his car in, and Newsome and Boatwright hopped out to rob him. Newsome grabbed a bag with $50K in cash and headed back to the whip with Boatwright, but then Boatwright upped his rifle and shot X to death. Boatwright, Newsome, and Williams all got hit with life sentences over the murder, but Robert Allen flipped on them and got off with just 7 years. YNW Melly came up in Gifford, Florida, repping the Bloods. His mom had Melly.
What's the point? I mean, they all on camera. He ain't gotta say too much. If he wouldn't have told, he still would have got the life sentence or whatever. That's why he decided to. They did all that.
Melly when she was just 14 years old, and back in the day, she could barely afford to buy food. Melly wanted to make it in the rap game, but he got active in the streets at a young age and got booked for shooting 3 teenagers when he was just 15. Melly got off easy and only had to serve a year in juvie, and he ended up dropping his first project while he was still locked up. Before he went inside, Melly had linked up with his homies Zach Chaser, Juvie, and Portland and started the YNW Collective. Melly's first project got him a lot of buzz, and in 2018, he popped off even more when he dropped his debut mixtape. While he was going up in the industry, Melly was still dealing with the Florida curse and getting locked up though. In 2017, he got booked for a probation violation and came home in March 2018. But then just 3 months later, he was arrested again on drug and gun charges. Melly got out and was free for a few months, and he was becoming one of the hottest rappers in the world. Melly was running up huge numbers every time he dropped new music, and he even got a feature from Kanye West. It looked like nothing was going to slow him down. But then in February 2019, the news broke that Melly was facing a double murder case for allegedly killing his homies Sack Chaser and Juvie. When Sack Chaser and Juvie were killed back in 2018, everyone thought they got caught up in a crazy drive-by shooting. But the cops think Melly murdered them while he was in the whip with them. Then Melly and his homie Borland staged the scene to make it look like a drive-by. According to Sack Chaser's dad, they had a deal in the works to sell the YNW brand for $500,000.
Chris told me the same story, and also it was a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000, Sack was going to get $200,000, Chris was going to get $100,000. And as I'm hearing it from Chris, they was going to sell the YNW brand, not a record deal or nothing like that. It was like for the brand itself, and by them being founding members, they was going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't think Melly did it on his own. I think that manager guy got in his ear and did a little divide and conquer. Because if it was up to Sack, it would never be a 100K management.
Melly went to trial in June 2023, but the jury wasn't able to make the decision on the case. 9 of them wanted to convict him, while 3 said he was innocent. And in a death penalty trial, you need all 12 jurors to reach the same verdict. The judge tried to make the jury decide if Melly was guilty or not, but they still couldn't agree, and it was declared a mistrial, which means they have to do the whole thing over again with a new jury. Melly got lucky because he didn't get sent to death row, but the same thing probably won't happen twice. What's really crazy about the situation is how much more popular Melly
He can get retried for death row and all that good stuff again. If it came in a mistrial the first time, don't they take the death row off the table? I ain't gonna lie though, it seems like Buddy's cooked off of this reason alone. They got him in the car. They got just a lot of evidence that's against him. You know what I mean? This seemed like, after seeing all the shit they had on the trial, it being optimistic, it was very hard to do. Hell yeah, keep it going.
It became after he got arrested for allegedly killing his homies. After the news broke he was going to trial for the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie, Melly's track Murder on My Mind blew up and hit crazy numbers. He dropped his debut album From Behind Bars a few months later and hit number 8 on the Billboard charts. In 2020, Melly had another hit after he dropped a remix of his track Suicidal with a feature from Juice WRLD. And in 2021, Melly dropped his second album and hit number 11 on the Billboard chart. Hitting the charts won't help Melly beat the double murder case though, and right now, his fans have no idea if they'll ever see him on the outside again.
Sonic Departamento de Investigación y Deliciosidad. Ahora te puedes llevar las nuevas Groovy Fries y Groovy Sauce.
Mask the Slump God's homie, XXXTentacion, definitely got hit with the Florida curse, but Ski has never really been in trouble. He got caught with around $10 worth of weed when he was a teenager and had to sit down in juvie for a minute. But that's actually what made him hop in the booth and start rapping. While he was on the inside, Ski met X and started rapping together. Then they both came home and started popping off on SoundCloud. XXXTentacion was always in the headlines for something crazy, but Ski just stayed on the music grind and started working with some of the biggest artists in the game. In 2018, Ski was featured in XXL's freshman class and dropped his debut album. The project hit number 6 on the Billboard 200 chart and ran up crazy numbers. But after that, Ski took his foot off the gas. Mask the Slump God lost his homies XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD back to back, and rumors say that's why he didn't keep up the momentum in the industry. It's clear that Ski never really fell off though, because every time he drops something new, he racks up millions of streams pretty much immediately. Kodak Black came from the bottom and turned himself into one of the biggest stars in the rap game. But now he's falling off and fans are getting worried about his health too. Kodak came up in the Golden Acres project.
Whoa! We did not need that one. That was who wrote that?
In Pompano Beach, Florida, and was surrounded by violence since he was a kid. He ended up hopping off the porch like everyone else around him, but Kodak also had dreams of making it in the rap game. Kodak started rapping when he was a kid and started recording tracks in the trap house after school. By the time he was 12, Yak already had his name buzzing around Pompano Beach, and when he dropped his first mixtape in 2013, it took him to another level. Then Drake gave Kodak a co-sign, and that's when everything changed. Yak started running up huge numbers and ended up on the XXL freshman list. He kept the momentum up and hit number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart with his first album. Kodak started working with some of the biggest rappers in the game like Travis Scott, Offset, and Juice WRLD. He was hitting the charts every time he dropped something new. But Kodak was also staying in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Yak has always been one of the wildest dudes in the game, and a lot of people weren't rocking with him outside of the music. Back in 2017, Kodak caught a lot of heat for saying that he don't really like black girls.
Keke Palmer, she's great. I bag her, but you know what I'm saying? I don't really like.
Then a year later, even more people turned on him after he started talking about Nipsey Hussle's girl, Lauren London. Nip had just been tragically killed in his hometown, and Kodak started talking about how he would give Lauren London a year to grieve before he made a move on her.
I give her a whole year. She might need a whole year to be crying and shit. The dude, I ain't trying to shoot at her. I'm saying this. Look. No, she could do 2-3 years, but I try to be like, if you need a friend to holler or show the mean or you can call my line.
But making people mad on social media.
I ain't even gonna sit here and cap y'all down. See, that's why I be saying niggas be just doing too much for the internet. That type of conversation right there, God had the same exact way. Sometimes, hey, in some cases, a little worse than what was shown on that live, right? But off the strength of who Kodak is and his name and all that, that's why I got blew out proportion. I'm talking about all the people that was against it and all that. Either know somebody that had that type of conversation about that same situation, or then had a talk like that about a situation just like it. It don't got to be the two famous people that's involved. Goddamn, it could be whoever around the block. I'm gonna slide on. Hey, y'all niggas uncles probably talking about. I'm gonna slide on. What's a good old name? It's the same exact shit. All right, I'm done.
Drake co-signed
With
them.
that one.
But right after it happened, Kodak got booked for assault, robbery, kidnapping, and other charges. He was able to bond out, but then just 2 months later, he was booked again for weed. Kodak's career was still going up, but then he started getting into more serious trouble. In 2016, he was arrested for sexual battery. Then 2 months later, he was booked for a gun. The cops tried to pull him over after Kodak allegedly bought weed from a plug. But Kodak tried to do the race and tossed the Glock 23 out of his car while the cops were chasing him. He spent a lot of 2016 behind bars. Then in February 2017, he got booked for violating his house arrest and allegedly putting hands on a bartender in Miami. Yak ended up getting sentenced to 364 days in prison, but he got out early because he finished a life skills course. Yak going in and out of jail kept his name in the spotlight, and he also never stopped dropping new music. In 2018, he got booked on another gun case and other charges and had to go back to prison again though. This time he got his GED, changed his name to Bill K. Capri, and even started talking about writing a book. Fans thought Kodak was finally ready to switch up how he was moving, but it didn't last long. Kodak came home and got back on the music grind, but just a couple of months later, he got caught trying to take a Glock into Canada. He bonded out again, but less than a month later, he caught a federal gun case in Miami right before he was going to perform at Rolling Loud. Yak had been lucky and never got hit with any long sentences, but that all changed with the Fed case. He pleaded guilty and the judge gave him 3 years and 10 months. It was a major setback, but all the money Kodak made from rapping helped him afford a good lawyer. Yak's lawyer was a dude named Bradford Cohen, who represented a lot of big celebrities like DMX, Dennis Rodman, and Lil Wayne, and also had ties to President Donald Trump. Kodak caught a big break when Donald Trump pardoned him in 2021, but he still couldn't stay out of trouble. He was booked for trespassing in January 2022.
Hey, that's some real middleman motion right there. God damn, that was some see, that's that, and I bet Brad, that was his name, Brad. He every bit of $100,000 lawyer. Connections like that. Every bit of $100,000 lawyer. Hell yeah.
Then just a month later, he got shot in the leg outside of a Super Bowl party in Hollywood hosted by Justin Bieber. Luckily, Kodak survived the shooting, but for the next few years, fans were getting more worried about what's going on with him. Yak went on the Drink Champs podcast in 2023, and after the episode came out, a lot of people were saying Kodak needed help. Kodak got busted on another drug case a couple of months after the podcast. Yak was arrested after a cop went up to his car because he was blocking the road and found him asleep behind the wheel. When police searched the car, they found a drug that they thought was coke, so they arrested him. Kodak later told fans that he had already spent $350K on rehab, but it's clear that there was still something going on, because after Yak got out of jail, he made headlines again for throwing rocks at a reporter. All the legal drama definitely slowed Kodak down, and it looks like the drugs are messing with him too. He still has a lot of fans, but Kodak isn't making waves in the industry like he used to.
Sometimes people just want to be left alone, man. That's it. That's all. The motherfucker just want to be left alone, man. I'm talking about fresh out the county jail. Yeah, he definitely want to be left alone, man. What the fuck is y'all doing walking over the camera? I know my shit fucked in the game. Stupid ass. Fucking camera on my face, man.
Back in the day, he was running up billions of streams on features and his own hits. But on Yak's last project, most of the tracks barely hit 1 million. When Kodak was coming up in the game, his homie Jackboy was right by his side the whole time. But then they sparked a wild beef, and Jackboy got hit with the Florida curse too. Jackboy hopped off the porch around the same time as Yak, and while he was locked up, Jackboy said that Kodak was the only person beside his mom who would check on him and send him money. Jackboy was in prison while Kodak was blowing up in the industry, but when he came home, Jackboy hopped in the booth and signed to Kodak's label, Sniper Gang. It was all cool at first, but then Kodak started beefing with NBA YoungBoy and everything fell apart. Kodak and YoungBoy started sending shots back and forth after Kodak allegedly dissed YoungBoy. Kodak dropped the track Time Never Mattered and rapped, "But I hope that I don't go broke again. Nigga, I'm killing young babies. Kodak never going broke again. Nigga, you a free agent." After that, YoungBoy's homie Quando Rondo burned a Sniper Gang shirt. Then Kodak's homies clapped back by burning an NBA YoungBoy shirt. Kodak and Jackboy have been tight since they were kids, so Jackboy hopped in the beef to back his homie up. The beef with
These motherfuckers petty as hell, man.
YoungBoy died off and everything was cool again. But then Kodak got out of prison in 2021 and started throwing shade at Jackboy. They went back and forth on social media, and at one point, it got so heated that they were screaming at each other on IG Live.
I had your password, yes or no? I had your password, yes or no? I had your password? I had your password? Yes or no? Yes or no?
According to Jackboy,
the beef started, I was in prison when the beef started. I was in prison in Virginia, and I guess the nigga burnt the boxes or some shit. That's how the beef started. Like, a nigga burnt your boxes. That ain't my merch, a nigga, you know what I'm saying? So now you posting and you got people posting on your page all type of wild shit, and then you trying to say, oh, Jack.
Was it you posted?
Come on, man. I ain't never had no nigga IG, man.
Kodak also said that Jackboy owed him some money and called him ungrateful for giving him a career.
I got an M for him when he come home. Soon, boom. I came home early. Soon niggas like, oh yeah, bro, about to come home. All of a sudden, niggas just get ghosts. Nigga move. Now I'm saying, nigga move. Nigga just go against strange, homie.
But he didn't go into much detail about what really happened. And instead of talking it out and squashing the issue, Jackboy and Kodak started dissing each other and fell out completely. Falling out with Kodak didn't help Jackboy's career, but that wasn't even the worst thing he was going through. Back in January 2023, Jackboy almost got killed after a show in Sanford, Florida. 6 cars full of shooters affiliated with the set called On Top Forever pulled up after the show and started shooting into a Sprinter van they thought Jackboy was in. It turns out they had the wrong car though, and they ended up shooting a bunch of random innocent people. One woman was tragically killed, and the cops think that the On Top Forever dudes were trying to take Jackboy out just to get some clout. Then later,
there's always a pretty bitch just passing away, man. Stop killing the pretty bitches, man. God damn, you niggas blowing me with this shit. The last one I just watched was a pretty little, it blew me.
Later that year, someone pulled up outside of Jackboy's crib and shot a dude 3 times. When the news broke, everyone thought Jackboy was the one who got hit up. But Jackboy hopped on social media and let the fans and ops know that nobody shot him. It looked like Jackboy had actually escaped the Florida curse and was still going up in the industry after the beef with Kodak. But then in March 2024, the news broke that he had been arrested on gun charges. The cops pulled Jackboy over for illegal window tint and because they smelled weed. When Jackboy stopped, he couldn't roll his window down all the way because his whip was bulletproof. And when he opened his door, the cops spotted a Glock with an extended clip on the floor and a bunch of weed too. Jackboy is already a convicted felon, and the cops in Florida have him listed as a documented gang member, so they hit him with a bunch of serious felonies for the Glock and weed. Jackboy looked like he was about to make it out and not go down like everyone else who got hit with the Florida curse, but now he's facing some serious time. Hotboii is one of the hottest rappers in Florida before he caught a RICO case, but what a lot of fans didn't know about was his deadly war with another artist from Orlando named Glock 9. Hotboii started rapping when he was just 7 years old and was dropping tracks all the way back in 2016. But back then he still had both feet in the trenches and wasn't really taking rap seriously. He had a track called Switcheroo that was popping off in Orlando and getting him some looks. But then Hotboii caught a charge for breaking and entering and spent a couple of years locked up in juvie. Hotboii kept rapping while he was locked up and really wanted to go hard in the booth after he came home, and that's exactly what he did. In 2018, Hotboii popped off with the track Life of a Dog, but at the same time, he was still active in the streets and repped a crew called the 438 Gang. Around the same time Hotboii was getting some buzz, Glock 9 was on the come up too. He went on a crazy run and dropped 3 mixtapes in 2018, which led to him getting a deal with Cash Money and Republic Records. Hotboii and Glock 9 were cool with each other back in the day. They even dropped a song together called Hooligans with LPB Pootie before they all blew up, but then something went down behind the scenes that sparked a war between their crews. Glock 9 is affiliated with a crew called AFNF, and in April 2020, a dude from the set named Demetrius Cox allegedly killed a 438 member named Wolf Luther King. Then while Wolf's family was hosting a memorial service for him, someone rolled through and started letting off shots into the crowd. Wolf was one of Hotboii's best friends. Losing him to the streets was hard, but Hotboii put his pain into the track Don't Need Time and rapped, "How my Z died, thought real niggas never die. Gotta sleep tight, cause people ain't waking up now. I know my nigga made it to heaven, I know it. Wish I could call his phone and tell him how it's going. And his Glock look good with every outfit. I wanna put my nigga on, but he ain't out yet." Don't Need Time was running up millions of streams, and Lil Baby even put more shine on Hotboii when he hopped on the remix. But while Hotboii was going up in the industry, the war in Orlando was getting even crazier. The cops thought a dude from AFNF named Jeremiah Robinson was behind the shooting, but before they could arrest him, Robinson was allegedly shot in the head by a dude from 438 named Van Sean Sands. According to reports, Robinson and some other AFNF affiliates rolled up on Sands and tried to kill him, but Sands upped a rifle and killed Robinson. Glock 9's whip got shot up a few days later, but by the time the cops got to the scene, he was already gone and allegedly sliding on his own cousin. Cudham Reese is another Orlando rapper who's blood cousins with Glock 9. Family ties obviously didn't matter to them though, cause Glock 9 and his homies allegedly dumped over 100 rounds into Cudham Reese's crib. Then Cudham Reese and his homies clapped back by allegedly shooting up Glock 9's aunt's house. The streets were getting more violent every day, and that's why the cops set up a special investigation called Operation X-Force to bring down AFNF and 438. Hotboii and Glock 9 were both taken down, and Glock 9 got hit with a 7-year sentence in a different case too. Hotboii was granted bond, but then the judge revoked it after he caught another gun case. Hotboii did the race for a couple of weeks, but eventually decided to turn himself in. Luckily, he had the gun case dismissed, but he could still end up serving decades in prison over the RICO situation. Tons of big rappers had come out of Florida, but back in the day, it was always artists from the southern areas like Miami and Broward.
So they got him in jail on the little pistol shit. All for them just to drop it and him still in there, and the bond is revoked. So the bread gone. Well, they got some tricky ways, man.
County. Then around 2021, Jacksonville drill came out of nowhere and put North Florida on the map. Chicago drill took over the rap game back in the early 2010s, but the Jacksonville wave was even crazier, and one of the dudes who put the scene on the map was Young and Ace. Ace started dropping music back in 2017 and was building some buzz around Jacksonville. He kept it up in 2018 and was getting fans outside of the city too. But that same year, Ace saw his brother and 2 best friends get killed right in front of him. The 4 of them went out for a steak dinner, and when they left the restaurant, the ops caught up to him and started letting off shots. Ace got hit and barely survived, but he was the only one who made it out of the situation alive. Ace stayed on the grind and kept dropping new music, but the war in Jacksonville was leaving bodies in the street on both sides. Ace and his homies were beefing with another rapper from the city named Foolio, and that's what really made the drill scene blow up. The beef really popped off after Foolio's cousin Zion Brown was shot and killed after someone broke into his house and started letting off shots. A dude named DeAndre Thomas, aka Trey Shorty, was later arrested for the murder. Trey Shorty was Ace's homie, and they were both arrested together on a robbery charge back in 2017. Ever since then, Foolio and Ace have hated each other, and their crews have been at war. Ace was already making waves in the industry, but in 2021, he helped put Jacksonville on the map with his track, Who I Smoke. Who I Smoke sampled the pop track 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, but the lyrics were what shocked everyone. Ace and his homies took shots at Foolio and all of his dead homies with bars like, "I'ma shoot this bitch when I motherfucking see you. I don't go nowhere without my motherfucking heat, cool. Smoking on Lil Petey, I was smoking Trey D too. And where the ops at? Got a low? I told him drop that. FN and is spitting. One in the head, ain't gotta cock it back. No, I'm smoking jit, and one thing, they just can't get him back." Ace lost his brother and 2 of his best friends to the beat, but he wasn't the only one taking losses. Foolio's homie Lil Bibby was brutally murdered, and now Ace's homie K-So is facing charges for it. K-So is a rapper too. but he was allegedly one of the deadliest shooters in Jacksonville. Ace even shouted him out on Who I Smoke and rapped, "My killer make his face go." That's one thing about K-So. No hospital gang, boy. You know that shit a case closed. Want him dead, bust his head, all I do is say go. Before he got locked up, a lot of people already thought K-So was involved with Bibby's murder, and he even raps about it on the track K-So Bitch and said, "K-So Bitch, Glocks and Rugers, we be hitting shit, we flipping shit. Don't run, we chase you down, we blitzing shit. Don't be bibbied out, we hitting shit." K-So is also facing another murder case for allegedly killing another Jacksonville rapper named Lil Buck. Before the cops caught up to him, K-So was popping off in the Jacksonville drill scene, but he's been locked up for years and might never see the outside again if he goes down for the murders. His dad was also arrested for the murder of Lil Buck because he was the getaway driver and even agreed to testify against his own son to get less time. So it don't look like K-So is getting out anytime soon. Besides Young and Ace, Foolio was the biggest rapper in Jacksonville who was putting the city in the spotlight. After Ace blew up by dissing Foolio's homies on Who I Smoke, Foolio clapped back with the track When I See You and sent shots at Ace's brother and homies who died in front of him back in 2018. Foolio was making headlines, but putting a big target on his back too. And he's already survived at least 3 different shootings. One time he was leaving the studio when 2 ops caught him outside and started letting off shots. They allegedly sent 100 shots at him, but Foolio busted back and made it out of the situation alive.
Libérate de tu compañía de móvil y ahorra con Spectrum Mobile. Obtén el plan ilimitado Plus por solo $25 al mes y pagamos hasta $2,500.
Even when Foolio went to Texas, the Florida curse followed him and he almost got killed on the highway. A bullet grazed him in the head after the op shot up his whip. But luckily, Foolio didn't get killed. Everyone thought Young and Ace and his homies were behind the hit, and Ace's homie Fast Money Goon pretty much confirmed it on Who I Smoke when he rapped, "I told the Rocket when I travel, I'm pistol packing in Houston. I was lurking on his page and caught him lacking in Houston. We let off shots, he got shot and went live. I was tweaking like, fuck man, that bitch ain't died." This and Dead Ops and song.
Hold up. Now, if we're gonna talk about lyrics, them are the wild, and that was the opening part of this nigga's like verse. This shit was on this nigga mind. Like, fuck, why the fuck he real agitated. Why the fuck?
Songs definitely put a lot of heat on Foolio, but he was cursed before he ever hopped in the booth. Back when he was still in school, someone from his ops hood got killed at a bus stop, and Foolio started dissing him on social media before school. The ops thought Foolio was involved with the situation, so later that day, they followed him on the bus and started letting off shots while Foolio was walking home. A bullet hit him in the leg, and Foolio had to crawl away, but luckily the ops ran off before they finished the job. Even Foolio's girlfriend Bubin Baby couldn't escape the Florida curse. One day she was driving Foolio's whip when someone pulled up and started letting off shots. Bubin got hit in the hand and ended up losing a finger. And then Foolio's ops spin the bands dissed him on the track I Don't Smoke Kendre and rapped, "This nigga mama got shot and he's still tweaking. This nigga bitch got shot, cool, I know she leaving. They shot that whole finger off, she couldn't even tweet it." Rumors say a dude named Leaky was the one who shot Bubin Baby. And after Leaky was shot and killed, Foolio did a feature on Rod K's track, All Gas, and rapped, "Shot my car up twice, then hit my bitch. Now Leaky rest in peace." Then in October 2023, rumors were flying that Foolio had been shot again in Jacksonville and might not make it out alive. His mom hopped on social media and asked people to pray for Foolio. For a minute, it looked like the ops might have actually killed Foolio, but luckily that wasn't the case. He took a brutal shot to the foot, but Foolio made it out alive again. Going to war in the streets isn't the only thing that hurt Foolio's career though. Back in 2022, Foolio got hit with a charge for fleeing from the police after the cops tried to pull him over, and Foolio rolled a few blocks before stopping. A lot of people thought the case should have been thrown out because it was clear Foolio wasn't actually trying to run away, but he got booked anyway and was put on house arrest until May 2023. Foolio and Young and Ace's beef helped the Jacksonville drill scene blow up, but both of them took a lot of losses, and now their careers are falling off too. Foolio dropped a new project in April 2024, but a lot of the tracks didn't even hit 20K streams. Young and Ace dropped a project in March 2024, but his numbers weren't much better. Foolio and him used to run up millions of streams, but now it looks like their fans are moving on. And they're not the only Jacksonville drill rappers who got hit with the Florida curse. J.Breezy came up in Jacksonville, but it wasn't gangbanging back in—
Okay. Leave a like on the video. Other than that though, it's your boy Snorri. I'm gone, man. Told a lot of shit we already knew. I ain't gonna lie.